Propagating the values of moderation to combat increasingly extremist views in Malaysian society is no easy feat and can be a lonely task. Star Media Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Datuk Seri Wong Chun Wai says the biggest challenge is sustaining a moderation campaign.
It is sometimes a lonely job, a very lonely job taking on this role of promoting moderation in Malaysia. Don't talk about ASEAN, doing it in Malaysia because that it requires a lot of stamina, and as a media organization, after a while, your readers also find that some of your campaigns have become blind spot, as we say in this business. It becomes a blind spot, it's not exciting anymore. And so you constantly have to come up with ideas how to make it exciting, how to carry on that people will feel that, oh, he's got a great campaign. That itself is a challenge.
Earlier last year, the Star initiated the Voices of Moderation and later the Brave Views, Bold Ideas campaign to pave the way for pledges for more open, rational and moderate discussions. During the session entitled Role of Media Promoting Moderation in the East Asia Summit members, Wong called on moderates to be consistent in principles by being able to be critical of their own communities.
But for me, I'm also prepared to criticize Chinese extremists. Chinese extremists who thinks that because you make up 20% or 30% of this country, you insist that many things must be in Chinese. Okay? Malaysia is an unusual country that, not even Singapore, it is an unusual country that because that where the Chinese are allowed to set up their schools on the primary school in using Chinese as a medium instruction. I'll stand up and criticize for their non-realistic view. And I'm a Christian, I also speak up against groups, Christianity groups, who seems to be out of touch with reality. Now that is the heaviest part because you are speaking against your peers, you are speaking against your religion, you are speaking against your community. But you have to be consistent.
Nikkei Asian Review's chief editor, Gwen Robinson, says the message of moderation must be more clearly defined.
However, I think, it seems to be early days yet. And so far it seems to be broadly a point about governments being a voice of reason or responsibility. Even I think Malaysia's foreign minister portrayed moderation as pushing out a better defined message and said earlier this year we must put forward a positive narration of moderation, hope and of peace. We know from both our histories and present times that the spark of extremism can too easily be fanned into flames. So I think Malaysia is really onto something to push this as a movement and also the moderation movement.
The Star online editor, Philip Golingai, says the Star was the first media to rally Malaysians to support a moderate Malaysia. He says there is a shift towards public conversation where more Malaysians are speaking up in support of a more rational, open and non-divisive society. The 4th Economic Research Institute for Asean and East Asia, ERIA, Editors Roundtable, is a 3-day event where discussions from balanced voices on a variety of issues affecting the country can be heard.